Zahid Hamidi has stated that Umno will remain in the government until its term ends. We also have an update on former Premier Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. Stay tuned for all this and more on Kini News. Umno President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi has ruled out any return to past political arrangements with the opposition for the time being. Zahid said the party had not confirmed any plans to revive old coalitions or political branding that had previously failed. He added that Umno would not engage in any form of tabok-atap maneuvers to topple the current administration.
Kerana saya mempunyai pendirian daripada awal, parti juga mempunyai pendirian daripada awal. Kita tidak akan pernah melakukan tebuk atap pada kerajaan yang ada sekarang ini. Dan kita akan bersama-sama dengan kerajaan perpaduan ini hingga tamat penggal. Bila penggalnya yang akan diumumkan nanti, ianya adalah penggal yang secukupnya sebelum pilihan raya umum ke-16 diadakan.
Kerjasama dengan pembangkang tu adakah juga nak revive balik mufakat nasional?
Kita tidak mahu bernostalgia menggunakan apa-apa nama yang pernah dicadangkan dahulu. Dan kita belum memutamatkannya lagi. Itu sebabnya perincian penting. Kerana kita tidak mahu dipatuk oleh ular yang sama bagi kali yang kedua di tempat yang sama.
Zahid also commented on the bill to cap the Prime Minister's tenure at a maximum of 10 years or 2 terms, calling it a game changer. Speaking to reporters this morning, he said the move has the potential to bring significant reforms to the country's governance system.
Ini adalah merupakan satu game changer yang pada hemat saya kita tidak mahu supaya seseorang Perdana Menteri itu terlalu lama. Artinya overstay his or her welcome. Ya, sebaik mana pun kalau terlalu lama ini akan menimbulkan kesan saturation, saturasi, dan ini adalah merupakan satu langkah yang baik yang disarankan sendiri oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri.
So dalam sidang the next one lah, yang
terkini yang bermula daripada 19 hari bulan Januari ini. Okey.
Zahid added that the proposal was suggested by Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim during a special cabinet meeting yesterday and received unanimous support from all cabinet members. Anwar, in his address at the Prime Minister's Department Monthly Assembly yesterday, said a bill to cap the Prime Minister's tenure at 2 terms will be tabled in Parliament sometime this year. Meanwhile, Bersih welcomed Anwar's announcement of the bill. Bersih Chairperson Faisal Aziz described the proposal as a model for other countries that practice the Westminster parliamentary system. In a post on X, Faisal said Malaysia could become the first country operating under the Westminster model to impose a term limit on the Prime Minister should the law be enacted. He added that implementing the reform would mark a significant milestone, placing Malaysia ahead of other Westminster nations. Faisal noted that limiting a Prime Minister's tenure would encourage incumbents to carry out policies and programs more efficiently and effectively. He described the move as a positive step forward in tackling corruption, malpractice, and abuse of power. According to him, the reform would also create opportunities for younger political leaders to emerge and indirectly help cultivate a healthier political culture by keeping leadership competition open. Faisal also praised the reintroduction of the Parliamentary Service Act 2025, which is expected to come into force later this year. He described the act as a core tenet of the Westminster system, saying it would reduce opportunities for abuse of power while strengthening checks and balances. The PSA received royal assent in July 2025 after being tabled in Parliament last year. From now on, you can also listen to Kini News on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Scan the QR code on the screen to follow us. Former Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad has fractured his right hip and will require several weeks of hospitalization. His aide Sufi Yusof told the media that the injury was confirmed following a medical assessment and that Mahathir is expected to remain hospitalized for treatment and observation over the coming weeks. Mahathir had been taken to the hospital this morning after he sustained a fall at his residence in Seri Kembangan, Selangor. Sufi told the media that the incident happened at around 9 a.m. when Mahathir was transiting from the balcony to the living room. He said that the former premier was conscious and was taken to the National Heart Institute in Kuala Lumpur via ambulance. Mahathir was previously hospitalized at IJN in July last year after experiencing fatigue during a picnic event in Putrajaya just days after he celebrated his 100th birthday. Zain Rayyan Abdul Matin's father, Zaim Ikhwan Zahari, remains a free man after the High Court today dismissed the prosecution's appeal against his acquittal. The appeal concerned a charge of neglecting the 6-year-old autistic child in a manner likely to cause physical harm. According to Bernama, Zaim's lawyer, Harish Mahadevan, said the prosecution informed the court this morning that it had filed a notice of withdrawal and did not wish to proceed with the appeal. He added that the High Court judge subsequently dismissed the public prosecutor's appeal. On July 21st last year, Sessions Court Judge Shahliza Warno acquitted and discharged Zaim after finding that the prosecution had failed to establish a prima facie case. However, Zain's mother, Ismanira Abdul Manaf, was ordered to enter her defense on the same charge. Zaim and Ismanira were accused of neglecting Zain in a manner likely to cause physical harm between noon on December 5th and 9:55 p.m. on December 6, 2023. On October 31st last year, the court found Ismanira guilty and sentenced her to 5 years imprisonment. If you like the stories we produce, consider supporting us by subscribing to Malaysia Kini. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on your screen to subscribe. The meeting today between Bersatu President Muhyiddin Yassin and Terengganu Menteri Besar Ahmad Samsuri Mokhtar was held with the blessing of past President Abdul Hadi Awang. This was confirmed by Hadi's political secretary Shahir Sulaiman. The meeting took place amidst speculation over who will assume the role of Perikatan Nasional Chairperson following Muhyiddin's resignation on January 1st. When contacted, Shahir said the meeting was informal, adding that a formal PN meeting is expected to be held in the near future. He told Malaysia Kini that Samsuri met Muhyiddin on the mandate of Tok Guru. However, he refused to elaborate on whether the meeting was linked to speculation over Samsuri's candidacy to become the next PN chairperson. Earlier, Shahir had shared a photograph of the meeting on Facebook. On December 2nd, Hadi had indicated that PAS is poised to take over leadership of the opposition coalition, noting that several names, including his own, were being considered to replace Muhyiddin. However, Hadi acknowledged that he is in poor health and stressed that PAS has other capable leaders, including technocrats, who could assume the position. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's former aide Farhash Wafa Salvador Riza Mubarak has resigned from MMAG Holdings Berhad. He has also disposed of his entire shareholding in the firm. His departure from the integrated supply chain management firm comes less than a year after he emerged as its largest shareholder. According to the Newsrace Times, Farhash stepped down from his role as non-independent, non-executive chairperson with effect from January 2nd, citing personal commitments. Bursa Malaysia filings cited by the Daily stated that MMAG confirmed there were no disagreements with the board and no issues requiring shareholders' attention. A separate Bursa filing showed that Farhash ceased to be a substantial shareholder after disposing of 462 million shares through direct business transactions on December 31st, 2025. NSC reported that MMAG's share price has since declined sharply following Farhash's sudden exit. It added that the company has yet to announce a replacement chairperson. Yesterday, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim announced that a law to limit the term of the Prime Minister to 10 years will be among 4 reforms to be enacted in 2026. In a special New Year's announcement, Anwar said that the bill will be tabled in Parliament sometime this year. Following the announcement, Kinitv conducted a poll to gauge public reaction to Anwar's proposal. The poll showed strong support, with 79% of respondents backing the bill, saying the country deserves greater democracy and transparency. Meanwhile, 10% felt that imposing a 2-term limit could lead to political instability. 8% supported it, but said that it would require careful implementation. What are your views on the term limit for the PM position? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm Camelia. Thanks for watching.